How to memorize the notes on a guitar fretboard. Step 1. The open strings. We'll start with our thickest and lowest sounding string E, followed by A, D, G, B, and a higher sounding E. We can remember the order of these notes by saying elephants and donkeys grow big ears, or iadgabe. Step 2. Notes on fret 12. These notes share the same letter names as the open strings but sound higher. If we can imagine the low open E string as dark blue, maybe we can also imagine fret 12 as a lighter shade of that same color, and fret 12 of the high E string as even lighter. Step 3. Intervals. The distance from one note to the very next is called a half step. We can see this most clearly on one string of the guitar. Each time we cross over a fret, we've moved a half step, like a ladder or a staircase where the steps are a little too close together. The distance of 12 half steps from one note to the next of the same name is called an octave. The root word of octave means 8, like octagon, which has 8 sides. So why is it called an octave if these two notes are 12 half steps apart? The answer is in step 4, the musical alphabet. Notes get their names from the first 7 letters of the alphabet. On what would be the 8th letter, the musical alphabet repeats throughout many octaves. We can see this well on a piano keyboard where all of the white keys get letter names. Step 5. B, C, and E, F. It's important to note there are other notes in between many of the letters. These are called sharps and flats. It's best to learn these one by one after we've mapped out all the simple letter names. A good way to find notes on a single string is to remember that B and C are only one fret apart, and the same goes for E and F, because everything's fine. Step 6. Framing the fretboard. Now that we understand how the musical alphabet is ordered, we could visualize this arrangement of letters throughout all of the strings, but I think that would be a lot to try to memorize all at once. So a nice place to start would be the low E string. Your guitar may have dots on the odd-numbered frets that can help mark where most of these notes are found. The good news is the high E string notes will be found on the same frets as the low E string notes. They will just sound much higher. Now would be a good time to pause and study this border of notes we have. Recognize the patterns, but most importantly, see how well you can find and play these notes on your guitar. Let your fret numbers and markers be your guide. Step 7. Tuning notes. The guitar is like having a choir of 6 voices at your fingertips. The low E string is our bass singer. He can sing the lowest notes of everybody. But when he gets up to fret 5, he is singing the note A, which is the lowest note that our next voice can sing. When that singer gets up to fret 5, he or she is now singing a D note and can pass it off to the next singer, who will find a G note at fret 5 of her vocal range, where the next voice can step in and sing that very same note. The G and B strings of the guitar are tuned a half step closer to each other, so the G singer will only need to travel up to fret 4 to reach her B note. This odd tuning is just one of the many quirks of the guitar. After this little sidestep, our B string singer can reach up to fret 5 and sing the note E to match our highest sounding string. Maybe call her the soprano. She can sing really high. With all of these doubled notes, we can tune the guitar to itself just like a choir would. We now have a good frame of reference for notes on fret 5. Remember that B and C are always right next to each other, and the same for E and F. The letters on the E strings are laid out the same, and we have octaves of our open strings on fret 12. Step 8. Notes on fret 10. All of the notes that land on fret 10 are one letter before the notes on fret 12. They're 2 half steps, or more commonly called 1 whole step away. This is a good line of notes to memorize and will help in finding other nearby notes in this region. Being able to count back from fret 12 and say the musical alphabet both forwards and backwards are good skills to develop. Step 9. Patterns. Memorizing notes on the guitar fretboard is all about recognizing patterns, especially patterns that are musically useful. When I was a kid, I wanted to play really fast, and I learned that 3 note per string lines were a good way to develop speed and visualize note patterns. I tend to favor the more symmetrical shapes over the slightly more disjointed ones, or groupings that require more of a stretch. The beautiful thing about having so many different ways to play notes on the guitar is all the tonal variations each string has to offer. We have the chance to develop our own unique playing style that works with our ability and musical tastes. I encourage you to take note of the patterns that stand out to you. Play them on your guitar, draw them on a piece of paper. They'll stick in your memory way better that way. Step 10. Scales. A scale in music is a series of notes from one note to its octave. There are many scales. For example, the chromatic scale is made up entirely of half steps. The whole tone scale, entirely of whole steps. The major scale, sometimes called the mother of all scales, is made of this sequence: 2 whole steps and a half step, 3 whole steps and a half step. If you start this scale on note C, you won't get any of the sharps and flats that we heard of earlier. It's real easy to play this on a piano, very linear. On the guitar, it takes a little more brain power, especially when played on more than one string. Remember, the guitar is a choir of 6 voices, and you are the choir director. For memorizing notes on the guitar fretboard, I recommend getting really good at playing the C major scale in many positions. You'll develop a clear picture in your mind's eye of where the notes are if you say them as you play them. Make a game out of it. See how well you can memorize one string or one position on the fretboard. Play a simple melody and sing the note names in place of the song lyrics. Approach this with the mindset of play and discovery, and with some time and practice, you'll get it. After we've successfully mapped out the letter names of notes on the fretboard, we can slowly introduce the sharps and flats. One good way to do this is to learn the G major scale, followed by the D, and the A, and so forth. It's helpful to always be listening as we find and play these notes, learning new tunes, remembering old ones, or creating our own music. When we make the process enjoyable, meaningful, and personal, what we learn will stay with us for a lifetime. Thank you for watching and listening. If you would like this page of fretboard diagrams to help you memorize the notes, please look in the description box below. And if you found this video helpful, tap the like button, subscribe, and share with your friends. I appreciate your time and welcome your comments. All the best.